On a whim.
Hello, On a Whim listeners, and welcome to episode lucky number 13 of season 2
Is it a lucky number?
of the On a Whim podcast.
Is it? Is it really?
I mean,
thought
it's
that was
ironically
the unlucky.
Yeah.
I thought it was the unlucky number.
Well, that's Grover Wimberly. I'm Paul Vella. We're your co-hosts. And Grover, do you know where that whole unlucky 13 be unlucky comes from?
No, I don't. Please enlighten me.
I don't know either.
Oh,
I was hoping you would know. It's one of those like the black cats walking in your path or walking under the steps. I know there's also the Japanese thing of not having a particular floor for the elevators. Did you know that one?
no, I don't.
I know why Friday the 13th is considered unlucky, a bad day, because that's the day the Knights Templars were slaughtered due to them knowing too much. I think that's what the story goes. But I don't know why 13, the number itself, is considered unlucky. I mean, it's a prime number.
Did you know 2020 had 2 Friday the 13th?
I sure do know that fact. And we lived through that.
That explains a lot, doesn't it?
But so this is the thing, right? Is the day considered unlucky, or because we attribute to bad things happening to us due to it being Friday the 13th? Or is it just us falsely correlating to something?
Oh, for me, I'm not really a superstitious person. My dad is. I remember we would split the pole, right? He would go around the left side of it. I would go around the right side of it. And he's like, son, go back around. That's bad luck. Or I would happily jump on cracks. I'm not a superstitious person, so yeah.
No, but they say the full moon brings out the crazy people. And is it because you notice more crazy people on a full moon night?
Yeah.
And you attribute it to that?
I just noticed the crazy people when you just go outside on baseline when you're working too late of a day, and
right. When we used to work in person in the before time, right?
Yeah.
The rule of thumb was we would leave
before nightfall.
Yeah. And for you listeners, if you ever played the game Pikmin, you can't stay on the planet's surface past sunset, and you have to leave with you and your party of Pikmin before the predators are active at night, right? So as we're packing up, we'd hum the Pikmin cleanup song.
I've never played Pikmin.
Oh no, you never played Pikmin?
I have Pikmin 1 downstairs for the GameCube.
On the stack of shame?
For the GameCube. And it's like, do I want to do all that work to hook up my Wii, to find a GameCube controller, to find a GameCube memory card, and to find a TV that would play it?
Yeah, that's so much work. I agree.
Yeah, or I could play my Switch.
Yeah, it's more convenient to play the Switch.
So I want to get Pikmin 3. That's on my wish list someday.
Well, I have Pikmin 3. I got it as a gift.
How did you like it?
It's on my stack of shame.
Oh, no. You and me both.
I'll probably end up playing it come summer when I'm gonna have more time to game.
Yeah, when you got your 3 months off.
It's probably gonna end up being a month and a half off.
Oh,
maybe 2 months.
That's not bad.
Unbeknownst to a lot of people, mostly students, teachers, faculty go back to in person. They go back on site.
Makes sense. Like if they have new classes or something like that.
Yeah.
Lesson plans.
While kids enjoy maybe 2 to 3 more weeks, the adults who work there are already going back and planning. And then just a peek for all of you behind the curtain, right? Speaking of peeking behind the curtain, shouts out to Shadoe Trammell, our audio engineer.
Thanks, Shadoe.
Shout out to Lucia Lee and Jabari Lewis Smith. Lucia does our Chibi Faces art. And you'll see, if you go to the YouTube video to watch or to listen to the podcast, you'll see maybe Grover and my chibis. And then Jabari, of course, the normal, the usual co-hosts. He's in his hiatus.
Thanks, Lucia Lee, and thanks, Jabari Lewis Smith.
And then again, thank you, listener, for tuning in to the On a Whim podcast. which premieres Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Thanks, listeners.
And thanks to the support of listeners like you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we mentioned this. This is the 13th episode of this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting ever closer to our season finale of season 2, right? We're gonna take a brief hiatus, probably during the summer months.
Oh, that's gonna be a stressful
we're
time.
getting ready to release some games, some
That's
projects.
gonna be a stressful time.
Yeah, it's gonna be stressful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Grover doesn't handle stress very well.
No, I operate on groove time.
Yeah, you sure do operate on groove time. Yeah, you can. Do you want to talk about what makes groove time?
Yeah. That's a story for a different day.
No, okay, no worries. It's all good. So
Yeah.
we mentioned the before time, right? And these past 3 episodes now, this is the 4th episode with Grover in it, and we've talked about it at the before time, before COVID, and I feel that we're coming to the end of this COVID adventure, right? This President Biden saying by May 1st ish, we're going to have enough vaccines for all adults, right?
I hope so.
We got high hopes. Yeah.
You're partially vaccinated as
Yes.
of this recording.
Yes. As
Right,
of this
or-
recording, I am partially vaccinated.
Yeah.
I got 1 of 2 shots so far.
By
Yeah.
the time this airs, I think you'll be fully vaccinated.
Yeah, I sure hope so. Yeah.
Right. And I think I will still be not vaccinated by the time this airs.
Well, hopefully as production increases, there should be more enough vaccines rolling out where hopefully you don't have that long of a wait, right? But it's really interesting to see how this administration is just helping so much, the production, logistics, and even, what the pharmaceutical companies are able to do. Some vaccines only require 1 shot as opposed to the 2, right? But yeah, I feel like we're rounding the corner, right?
Yeah, we're finally. I think we were talking about it offline, but like we're sitting.
Exactly.
Turning. What was it you were saying? Going over the curve. Like
Yeah,
people said we were doing
right,
this a year
exactly.
ago, but now it's actually happening. We're hitting the point where we're getting more people vaccinated than people getting the virus. Yeah.
And just following the science as I tend to do, more people are vaccinated, the less likely the virus will mutate and create other more virulent strains. Because the virus wants to keep on living.
Correct.
But yeah, as we're turning the corner, I want to talk a little bit about, things that,
Mm-hmm.
in hindsight, and now through this experience we've lived, things that we would like to see, to see go back to the way it was. And the number one thing is gatherings, right? I think the last major gathering I was part of was our friend Gino Quesada's birthday. And
Whoa. Hold up. Didn't you go to a wedding? I'm pretty sure you went to a wedding after.
Yeah, I did go to a wedding. So let me rephrase that. The last big gathering you and me were both in attendance of was Gino Quesada's birthday.
And I thought they were stupid.
Yeah, but yeah, I did go to a
stupid for
wedding.
doing that.
Yes, you did.
No, not you. They were stupid for holding it.
Sure. But yeah, me going to the wedding, I exercised all the cautions I could. Stayed in the back, open air.
Yeah.
I didn't go near the barn where everyone was dancing in. I thought they were off their rocker.
Yeah.
But I think having mass gatherings again will be a nice return. Not having to wear a mask when you're healthy, right? What about you, Grover? What is something you're looking forward to when we go back?
The one thing I really, really miss is there's I know conventions make me tired. And so, but I still like going to them. I still liked seeing what other people drew, or, buying art, or, going into tournaments like that. I really enjoyed Level Up Expo. I think that's my favorite convention. And When they said they were having it this year, at first they canceled it. But at first they were gonna go for it later, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. It's too, like, right now groups of 5 or larger make me very uncomfortable. And whenever I have a gathering with somebody, I try to keep it less than that unless it's a really special occasion. And then I'll be like, okay, we could do 5 people, but that's it. But that and buffets, I miss buffets, but I don't think buffets are going to go back to the way they were.
I miss
Hometown
all you can
buffet,
eat Korean barbecue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Korean barbecue. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. But like hometown buffet, old country buffet, we used to go there for really cheap crap. That's going to be gone. Casino buffets. That's right now, half of them have closed. And some of them are doing like this cafeteria style thing going on. But I have not been into a casino buffet since the before times. I think the last time the COVID was around, but there was only like 1,000 cases in the US. That was the last time I went to a buffet. And then that was like 2 weeks before everything shut down.
I mean, I was your last when I was your last presenter as when you finished your tenure as the IGDA Las Vegas chapter president, and
we had our temperatures
we went out for Korean barbecue afterwards.
Yeah,
and we had to get it. Yeah, exactly. But it was the restaurant we went to was empty, even for a Tuesday night. Is it usually jumping?
Yeah. That place has always kind of been like that. We had in the before times, we had a Firefox dinner at that exact Korean barbecue restaurant, and it was about the same.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you miss being able to eat your fill.
We would go Saturday nights. I would be tired at AF from studio stuff, but we would go out and eat every Saturday night somewhere.
Yeah,
it was a great way to kind of catch up with everybody on what's been going on and how everything has been going in kind of like an informal format. I miss that. And I don't think that's going to fully go back to the way it was. I think it might be maybe me, you, and like maybe 1 or 2 other people.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. One thing that I would, kind of the opposite of what you asked, one thing that I hope stays is I've had a way better work-life balance. Not going to, I can stay in California for a whole week and just work from home. I can be in, and I've kind of changed it to I'd be in California for 1 week, I'd be in Nevada for 1 week, rather than, okay, I'm in Nevada and then I'm running down to California for 2 days and then I'm back in Nevada again. And I was kind of already getting kind of tired of that before the pandemic hit, because I just couldn't keep up with that schedule. When I was in my 20s, it was like, yeah, I could do it, and I still have energy left in me. But now it's like by the time before the pandemic hit, I would go down to California. I would come back on Monday morning, because I would leave early Monday morning, like at 4 or 5 a.m. And I would come back and then I would work, and then I would just be exhausted until like Wednesday or Thursday when I finally kind of caught up with everything. And I'm not doing that anymore.
What I tell you, short man.
Yeah.
Crack. Jaw falls off.
I'm not doing that anymore. I like working from home. I like the freedom of I can get up in the morning, eat whatever I want, dress however I want, and go on the computer and do my work. And everybody, as long as I'm turning in stuff and communicating through whatever the chat of choice is, then they don't care how I am or what. The only thing that's bad is that I have gotten a little bit fatter.
You and me both.
Because there's not as much walking. I noticed my face has gotten pudgier. So I've been trying to, in that times that I would be commuting, I would say, okay, I have to either learn something by taking a class or going outside and taking a walk. And that's, I started to get fat and stuff because I used to exercise up until I got my first software job. And then I didn't have time. I would, drive 2 hours, work for 8 hours, and then drive 2 hours back. And now it's like, I don't want to be in a world where I have to commute ever again. We don't have to. We have proven as a society that we can work from home, at least as far as tech is concerned.
There's enough software that exists now that can manage all that in Zoom calls and collaboration tools.
Yeah, and people had to trust their employees to work from home. And when they say go back to the office, I said, joke's on you. I'm not going back to an office. That's when I put my 2 weeks notice and find another job. Because if you have to tell me to go back to an office, you don't trust me.
That age-old thing, trust. Something that I hope stays the same.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you steered in that direction. Is wearing masks in public. Because if you're sick,
the flu,
and the flu, yeah, exactly. There is a reason why my doctor keeps telling me to get a flu shot every year, because people do die from the flu every year, right? And I can picture a world, or if I have a picture of a world where I don't have a choice to go to work. I have to work, or I don't get needs met and provided for, right? And going to work and I'm sick, I can wear a mask and I'm protecting others from me getting them sick, right? Every flu season, it spreads like wildfire in an office building.
And when I went to Japan, me and my dad were the only people without masks. A lot of people wear masks in Japan in public.
And I think we've mentioned that before. It's a shame that wearing masks has been politicized.
Yeah, this isn't a liberal or conservative thing. It's, having your health is the biggest freedom you can have.
Waking up, getting out of your bed, standing upright and sucking air without the help of a ventilator. That's the best freedom ever. I agree. And that's a shame that people it's a shame that people don't do more to protect themselves and protect other people. Whenever I can, it would be great if, the wedding I went to,
I think they were anti-maskers, weren't they?
No, I don't think they were anti-maskers. I know the mother of the bride was talk a little bit crap and saying, "Are you gonna wear that the entire time you're here?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I'm eating, I'll keep it off, and when I'm away from people, I might take it off. But other than that, I'm gonna keep it on.
Yeah.
But it's outdoors and nice summer breeze. I don't know. Someone said about it going with the heat. That didn't work. But
yeah.
But you did mention working from home, right?
Right.
So let's take it a step further. Next time there's a pandemic, what do you wish could be done differently?
I think I'll be long gone. I hope I'll be long gone by then.
Hey, so my grandpa, my 94-year-old grandpa, I've asked him about, what does he think about this virus and how far it's gotten and how bad it's gotten, and and I hope I've asked him, what do you think about this, Grandpa? And he's like, I never thought it would ever get this bad. Mijo, I never thought I'd live to see it get this bad. So if my 94-year-old grandpa says it, and I know you want to outlive us all,
yeah,
you might see something else to happen like that.
It runs in my family too, because same deal. I got a 93-year-old grandpa who's been through hell and back.
Yeah, your grandpa's up there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, our grandpas are contemporaries.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, we have lived through other epidemics. This is just really the first one that affected
the SARS
the population.
right?
Yes. SARS, Ebola, Zika. The outbreak was pretty bad. It wouldn't affect us because we're not pregnant women.
The last big one that was this magnitude was the Spanish flu, and that was 1919, right after the World War One, right?
During World War One.
Yeah.
So the story why it's called Spanish flu was so here's my history nerd come out.
Hey, go for it.
It was wartime, right? The United States, Germany, all the countries that were fighting each other did not want to release fatality reports related to the flu because it would make them look weak, right? So the only country putting any news out about the virus, about the deaths, was Spain, which was a neutral country. So since it's only on paper affecting Spain,
Spanish flu.
Hence, yeah, exactly, Spanish flu. Mm-hmm. And this novel coronavirus is the difference between that and this novel coronavirus is Spanish flu. Essentially, it killed indiscriminately, right? You practically drowned in your own mucus, and it affected everyone. People in their 20s, people in their 50s, however long.
Joke's on you.
So
I'm already blue.
Oh, that makes me sad.
No. I mean, it's a Sesame Street joke. Grover, he's blue.
Yeah, Grover being blue. I get it, but you are not a Muppet.
Not blue as in sad.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Grover, let's have a chat off the air if you're feeling that way.
No.
So
you guys can't see my Discord face right now, but it's a happy sun. It's a very happy
Is it a
sun.
happy face? Is it really?
It's very happy. He is very happy.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. So my fear is next time we have an epidemic, a pandemic, it has a higher lethality rate, similar to something like Spanish flu. Could you imagine anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers reacting to a virus that could kill a 20-year-old in the prime of his life, her life, their life, that could run a marathon and just kills them dead? Mm-hmm. Now, for the record, medical science has improved. You know, I'm sure there's some treatments that can help someone and avoid them from drowning in their own mucus in their lungs, right? But it's just combating against something that lethal and that contagious. And unfortunately, our reaction has set a very bad precedence going forward. And, you know, someone exercising their personal freedom is potentially infringing on someone else exercising their personal freedom. And I know that's a heavy topic.
Yeah. When you come to like laws and stuff.
Yeah.
You're very, very, you're tiptoeing the line there.
Yeah. It's a heavy topic. Yeah. Yeah. It's something, you know, where with a precedent being set, we have a playbook. How do we react? Right. And hopefully future administrations take a lesson from this and respond to pandemics more rationally, right? But one thing, going back to something I'm looking forward to going back to is traveling.
Yes. Yeah, traveling, you've kickstarted the fund a couple years ago now.
We sure did.
But
me and the guys, yep.
I have never been to the East Coast. I've never been to the East Coast, Eastern time zone. And one thing that I really want to do after the pandemic is visit New York City or Washington, D.C. or Boston. So anywhere around that area. And
so I'm going to throw some stats at you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That have to do with traveling. So
yeah.
So 11% of Americans have never traveled outside of the state they were born in.
I believe it.
54% of individuals have visited 10 states or less.
I'm one of them. I think I've visited 10 states. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, you and me both.
I think we're tied because you have Arkansas.
Well, I've driven through a lot.
I think I have Hawaii on you or something like that.
Well, then I have Massachusetts as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
But then
Utah.
Then you have Utah,
yeah.
right? Yeah. We've both been in Texas.
Yep.
You've been in New Mexico?
Yep. I went to
Okay.
Four Corners and
Right.
nope, never been to Oklahoma. Yeah.
I might have one more than you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But then, so 13% of people who took the survey said they have never flown in a plane.
Oh, Colorado. I've been to Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. We're tied.
There we go. Yeah, I think we're tied.
I like how we did that.
Yeah.
So, no. So 13% have never flown on a plane.
I didn't fly into a plane until I was 24.
My first plane ride was flying to Peru when I was 12.
Yeah, my dad didn't believe in traveling unless it was for a purpose. So
Even when you went to Japan, it was for a purpose, huh?
yep. Yeah, it was for a funeral.
Yeah.
So
So maybe your dad can still claim to only travel for a purpose.
no, that's true. It was there is some exceptions. I took him to the Hoover Dam, and then I took him to Utah. I took him to see Zion National Park, and he loved it.
Do you want to share what your dad asked you to do when you travel?
What did he? Oh yeah, he wants me looking for records. Yeah, is there any record stores or memorabilia or antiques that he might be interested in? And I'm like, okay, I'll look.
It's funny because my mom will ask me for refrigerator magnets from wherever we go.
Yeah.
And your dad asks you for records to sell.
Find something, something that'll make him money.
Yeah.
It's like, make this trip worthwhile, son. I'm like, this is not what this is supposed to be for. But
make yourself useful.
I have taken, when we went on when we went to Oregon and Canada a couple of years ago, right? I bought some of those snow globes, right? I bought one when we went to Crater Lake from that gift store there, and then I bought one that when we went to Canada, and I still have them on my desk. So, along with my amiibos. So, and then I have like one of those oil, the oil thing of the Space Needle.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because we went through Washington as well. Because it took going through Washington to get to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
For the listener, me and Grover did in the before times in 2019. We did a Pacific.
Was it 2019?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
We both independently flew into Portland's airport. Rented a car, and then drove up to Washington, Seattle.
Well, no, we went south. First, we went south through Salem, and then we went south to Crater Lake.
Yeah, and then Salem, Oregon, Eugene.
Yeah, and we drove. Yeah, and then we drove right through Bend, Oregon, where the first the only Blockbuster left, and we just drove right past it. We didn't realize we drove through that town. I think we drove down the wrong highway. Like there was like a split in that town, and I was supposed to go east, and then I went west through some forest or something.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And ended back up in Portland.
That was a fun trip.
Yeah, if I'd known the last remaining Blockbuster was in that town, we would have stopped.
But we wouldn't have been able to rent a movie or anything. We don't have a membership card.
Oh yeah. I just want to see what.
Yeah, missed opportunity. So 40% of respondents report having never left the country.
Well, we have two friends that never left the country as of this recording. Yeah.
63% of those said that the trip would cost more than they could afford. Yeah, they couldn't be able to afford it. 25% said they can't find the time to travel. Sound familiar?
Yeah, that's my dad. Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, 75% would like to travel more than they already do. So what are your thoughts, Grover, on this whole I can't afford it thing as it's too expensive to travel as a barrier?
So the thing here is that, do you have a car that can, to me, what's stopping you from getting into a car and just going? But I'm also saying this as a single person with no real obligations, right? Like I don't have kids or whatever, right?
You are the quintessential millennial.
Right. But
just without the whole avocado toast thing.
Yeah, but like 51% of people my age are married or our age are married. And
Is that real?
yeah.
My mother
And
of God.
So
And this economy?
So, those 51%, right? If they have kids or they have a spouse, then it's like, okay, suddenly I have to make this trip about me and this other person, right? We got to do things that we both want to do as opposed to things that just I want to do, right? For me, I might skip, I might just fly through this city, but if I was with somebody else, they might want to stop there. Or they might want to fly, or they might be tired and want to stop early. Whereas I'll just like continue going as long as I can. There was when I came back from Colorado to Utah, it was a 6.5 hour drive. And I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna go back. No, and I got sick midway through. I'm just like, nope, I'm just gonna drive faster, get back. Got to make it to St. George, Utah. That's where my hotel was for the night. And, if I was with somebody else, they're like, okay, we need to stop. You're not feeling well. But when it's just me, I'm just like, I can do it,
Put me back in, coach. I can still be a tourist.
I can do it. Blah. Blah.
Yeah. Okay. I can keep going now.
Yep. Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. Don't go to a Chinese buffet in the middle of nowhere. That's all I'm going to say. That was the only place that was open in what city was I in? I don't even remember.
So listeners, here's a little.
Anyway, go ahead.
Here's a travel tip, right? If you want to try a restaurant that says they're like a Chinese food or Mexican food or in your unfamiliar place, go in there and just see who's eating there. And if there's someone who and I hate saying it this way, right? But it looks like they belong to the cultural significance of the place you're eating at, like Chinese and Mexican, then you should eat there.
It was Sunday morning, and that was the only place that was open.
Where were you? You're in Colorado.
In Colorado, when I ate there for breakfast, and then I hopped on the highway back through Four Corners and then west through the Navajo territory in Arizona. And then from there, crossed one of the dams into Utah.
Yeah, I can see why you had limited options. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But that's a travel tip for listeners. When someone tells me you should eat at this restaurant, I have to take in consideration. Like, for example, someone tells me, go try this Peruvian food restaurant. And they are Peruvian, I'm more inclined to go try it. And me and my mom took Grover and his dad to this Peruvian restaurant.
Yeah, in
Rancho Cucamonga in California.
Yeah.
And that came very highly recommended. And that was 3 years ago now?
Yes.
Yeah, I was still working at the county back then, yeah.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at least 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, but yeah.
Really good pollo soup. They had a really good.
Very, very good food. Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. I haven't been since, since pandemic times, right? So the financial reason being an impairment, sometimes, like you mentioned before, being a single individual with little obligations.
Yeah, I can just go.
Could make more sense because once you get the family, cats in the cradle.
I answer to nobody.
And yeah, you answer to nobody. Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Something that I've shared is my mom. Me growing up, basic needs were met, but there wasn't a lot of extra money around. But my mom made sure I was taken care of.
Yeah.
But she still found a way to travel a little bit, right? I remember my mom would get home from work and I'd be waking up and she'd load me up into the van. And I remember drove off into the night and I'd wake up somewhere randomly. And my mom's taking a nap in the front seat because, she's exhausted. Maybe it's Joshua Tree. Maybe it's Mormon Rocks or something, right? Just, she and as far as I knew,
where am I?
I was in an adventure. Yeah, exactly. That too. But, as a kid, you're thinking, this is awesome. I'm an adventure with my mom. So I remember one year my mom I was in high school. My mom said, "Mijo, let's go to Hearst Castle." So the Hearst Castle is the mansion that belonged to William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper mogul back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He's actually one of the ones responsible for the Spanish-American War and yellow journalism, right? There's my history nerd coming out. But yeah, my mom took some time off from work and she took me up to Hearst Castle. And I remember going there and visiting and taking tours. And I'm sure my mom spent a lot of money. But my mom made sure I was exposed to different environments and places, right?
I'm looking at pictures of it. I'm looking at pictures of it right now. It looks really nice.
There's an indoor swimming pool with gold.
Yeah, I see it. It's like all
the
blue
gold,
and
yeah.
gold.
Literal gold in their swimming pool.
Yeah, jeez.
So my story is different than everyone else's, right? Some people do have money and choose not to travel, right? My experience is we didn't have much money, but we did still travel, right? You don't have to go on these grand trips around the world to be considered traveling, right? You can travel locally. As long as you get out of your comfort zone, I consider that traveling. Here's another one for you, Grover. 50% of the people surveyed said they never owned a passport. Now, do keep in mind, you did not need a passport to go to Mexico or Canada before
That's right.
the late 2000s. I had a passport because I did fly to Peru.
I went to Mexico when I was a kid, and definitely didn't need a passport back then. But that was my first time leaving the country. We went to Ensenada.
I think when my first time going to Mexico to TJ, my mom's like, "Well, when you need to go see what other countries are like. So, you're too spoiled in Redlands. Let's go see how a third world country lives." And oh boy, did I see something different than what I was used to. And my mom felt I needed that. I needed to see that. But I don't think I've ever let my passport expire.
Yeah, mine expires next year.
Yeah, you gotta go. So gotta go get that renewed.
Get that done. Yeah.
So, quick story, listeners, about Grover's passport. So, I'm part of. I've been a volunteer with a nonprofit ministry, and full disclosure, I'm on the board of directors of this nonprofit organization that used to go down to Mexico once a month and take food to orphanages and childcare centers. And one of the reasons why I got involved and I became such a avid volunteer was because I had a passport and I could go down there.
Well, you and
Jabari have been down there on a trip in the before time.
Yeah, we went on the very last trip.
Yes, 1 year ago when that second week of March was the last trip. Yep. And so the reason why what we do now is we support these ministries, these childcare centers, because Mexico does not have a foster care system.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I'm learning this right now.
Oh, then I have not told you the full picture then.
I just thought that they were doing this out of goodness of their heart because their foster system was bad or something like that. I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, there is no foster system in Mexico, right? There is an oversight that oversees these childcare centers, these like a family services, a DPSS that does remove children from the home if needed, but there is no like foster care system, like a formal system like that. So they count on these orphanages and childcare centers to pick the slack up. But yeah, this nonprofit I'm part of, right? I started going down there when I was 16 years old. And at the time, I was underaged. My friends were underaged. So whenever I told a friend, let's go to Mexico? Parents would say no. So I usually wait till I was 18 years old. And once friends turn 18, I'd start pushing, hey, let's go to Mexico. It'll be fun. We'll be in a truck for 16 hours. We'll get to talk and hang out, have fun. And Grover, when I told Grover this, Grover would tell me no, but he still wanted a passport. So I told him, can I remind you? He's like, yes. How often can I remind you? Once a month. So I proceeded to remind him on the first day of every month. I would tell him straight, through high school, through parts of college, on the very first day of the month. Yeah. So when was your Japan trip?
Japan trip was 2014. I don't remember, man. 2011 or 2012.
So from 2009 through 2012, I would remind you at least once a month.
Every month.
Until you finally got a passport. I'm persistent when I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure I asked for Grover, make sure he wasn't annoyed by it.
It's hard. It's hard to annoy me.
Yeah, I would just, I get his answer. No. Okay. Next month. Yeah. And making sure it's not April Fool's Day, right? Because I would ask on April 1st. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one last statistic. 76% of people said that they would like to travel more, but they can't. There is some barrier.
That's me. That's me.
That's you.
I want
me.
to travel more. I make it a point to make one really good road trip a year. And last year the best we could go is like I think we went to Fresno.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Fresno.
And then we went to Salton Sea.
Oh yeah. Yep.
The day Joe Biden was certified as the winner.
Yeah, he wasn't certified. The media determined
They
he had
him
enough
winner.
electoral votes to win the election. Yeah. Little did we know.
Little did we know what was going to happen.
Exactly.
2 or 3 months later.
And then January 6th happened, right? Yeah. Luckily those days are past us. Right. There's a song that I listen to that says may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. So your days continuously build on top of each other, right? It's a nice sentiment to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're rounding that corner, right?
I hope so.
And hopefully we can go back to traveling. And I want to say I want to go with you to the East Coast, New York, Washington D.C., Philadelphia. I might tag along. Depends on your itinerary.
Yeah.
I might be part of it, just a little bit of part of it.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I can always go Boston another time.
Whimindie is going to start going to conventions again once the pandemic is over.
Yeah, where is PAX East?
Yeah, PAX East is in
that's
Boston.
probably, if I go to Boston, that's probably what I'll go to Boston for. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice that and just like, okay, the next time they have PAX East, that's not during a pandemic. I'll go to Boston. I'll save Boston for that. And then, do NYC and DC. Because otherwise it's too much, right? You're doing 3 cities. I only have so much time I could take off,
Mm-hmm. The beautiful part of the convention center that PAX East is held in, the Heinz Convention Center, it's attached to a mall, which is then attached to a hotel.
Right on.
So in theory, if you stay at that hotel, all you have to do is come to the Sky Bridge, into the mall, and then into the convention center. You never have to step foot outside this gigantic complex, right?
Yeah, and then we can like Uber to different places, and rather than go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
You told me you go to Cheesecake Factory. Like, do your colleagues not have taste?
I mean,
I don't know.
They work with me, right?
We have a mutual friend of me and Paul's. Okay, lives in New York, right? Knows the prime of Italian food. Comes out to California to a family wedding, and they go to eat at the Old Spaghetti Factory. And if you've never heard of the Old Spaghetti Factory, think Olive Garden but worse.
Is it worse though?
I don't know. I was making a joke.
I don't think it's
about the same.
Worse.
It's about the same. It's about the same as the Olive Garden.
I say the bread is worse at Spaghetti Factory. I'd rather eat the bread at Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
But then I don't go to Olive Garden that often. So,
You know, I went to, me and John started going to Olive Garden more often right before the shutdown. Because they had like this, like soup, unlimited soup and bread. And I was like, okay, I want to lose weight. Soup is good for losing weight. So let's have that. And we were starting to go pretty often. And then the shutdown happened. We haven't gone back since.
The things we miss because of the pandemic, huh? We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
We're moving our way back to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things not going to be the same though. I know Las Vegas, we lost Pizza Rev, which is one of those, instant pizza places, the ones that you put the toppings on like Chipotle and then they put it into the fire for like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to those places before?
Yeah, there's Pyology and yeah. And then there is another one called Blaze and one more called
Blaze Pizza is pretty good.
Mod Pizza, that's what it is. Mod Pizza.
Oh, Mod Pizza, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very much like Chipotle, right? Where you can just pick your toppings, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. Yeah, so there was Pizza Rev, that shut down here. They still have the Blaze Pizza and Pyology, but they're like all the way on the other side of town. And then Soup Plantation, Sweet Tomatoes, that went out of business. There was one Soup Plantation in Redlands, and then there was one up here in Henderson, Nevada. That they all shut down. Hometown, I mentioned earlier, Hometown Buffet, that shut down.
Yeah, RIP Hometown.
Fry's I'm getting out of the food thing. Fry's Electronics, that's no more. They blame the pandemic for their shutdown.
Well, Fry's wasn't doing too good before the pandemic.
Yeah, I went to Fry's right when the pandemic started, and my dad, telling me to look for records, right? But I was in there trying to get a video game for Neil, and I bought him Breath of the Wild, and there was only one left, and it was on like this dusty shelf, and it said $39.99. I knew Breath of the Wild wasn't $39.99, but I was like, okay, what the hell? So I bought it, and then I went to look at the record section for my dad to see, what kind of records, what the prices are and stuff. And there weren't any, on the thing that said records, there weren't any records. It was all perfume and cologne and all these beauty products. And I'm like, who the hell goes to a Fry's Electronics for beauty products?
A very desperate nerd dating someone out of their league. They go to the nearest store they know, and they walk in there and then, I need something for my significant other.
Yeah.
And the person working there is like, well, we have perfume on aisle 10. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem that Fry's had was they changed to a consignment model. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Enlighten the listener on what that is.
So consignment model is when if you want to have to make sales, the supplier only gets paid if the stock sells. And so this is bad news for the supplier, right? Because they only get money if their stuff sells, right? Fry's did that, and a lot of people are like, I'm out, right? Samsung, they didn't want to do this anymore. Sony, they were out, right? So all of their shelves were empty, right? Save for a few things here and there. All the knickknacks and graphics cards and all that stuff that they were known for were just nil. And on top of that, they, their website, they never bothered to update their website. It was really slow. You couldn't see accurate stock and everything. They weren't willing to innovate, and it showed. And that was my favorite store. Like the first time I showed John Fry's, like when he when I still lived in California, we went to Frankensons and then we went to Fry's, and they were like, John and Shadoe were just blown away by how nerdy the place was, and they really had a fall from grace in the past couple of years. And go ahead. Oh, because they were on consignment model, they didn't do any liquidation sales because they didn't own any of the stock. It was all the supplier stock. So they just like, all right, it's the end of the day, we're shutting down. That's it. Game.
Yeah, cue the Pikmin end of day music. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. You're all fired.
So let me ask you this. Is it a tragedy when a company like that just fails to adapt, to innovate? Yeah, it's sad when employees get terminated, they lose their livelihood, they can't afford their bills. But is it a tragedy when a Blockbuster or a Fry's or
GameStop
GameStop? we can talk about that. But is it a tragedy when these companies fail because they didn't adapt and innovate?
It's hard to tell people on the top when something's failing, right? A big problem with Donald Trump, aside from the racism and the xenophobia, is that he doesn't like to listen to people who disagree with him. And I feel like this is a problem with a lot of leaders of big business until they realize, oh, damn, we should have been listening to these people. Or in the case of Sears or Toys R Us, right? Toys R Us didn't close because they couldn't innovate. Toys R Us was a scapegoat for hedge funds, right? For funds that they wanted to saddle debt from their other investments into Toys R Us and then blame Toys R Us for the problems when Toys R Us wasn't the reason why they were doing so poorly. They just reorganized their debt into Toys R Us and then let Toys R Us flounder and die. And I think Sears was also Sears was a mix of them not innovating and that problem too. They merged with Kmart and just loaded it up with debt.
Well, when Kmart bought Sears, Kmart, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was hedge funds, right?
Hedge funds might be the wrong term. Investment firms like Bain Capital, I think was the big one.
So these investment companies would buy these companies just so they can, unload their loss on them, mm-hmm. And then let the companies just die.
Loaded it out with debt. Yeah. Yeah, there's an interesting YouTube series where they talk about what happened to, it's like I forget the exact series, but it's like what happened to ... and the guy explains what happened to Toys R Us, what happened to Sears, what happened to Montgomery Wards, what happened to all these
oh yeah
what happened to all these chains that didn't make it, and what was the fallout. Yeah.
So you mentioned GameStop. Mm-hmm. And by the time this podcast airs,
GameStop will be back at $5 a share.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Let me just preface this, listeners, just to keep all of you in mind. This is not a financial podcast. We are not financial advisors.
No.
We are not giving financial advice.
Oh, no. Heck no.
But Grover, let me ask you this. Do you think GameStop is salvageable?
History has said no. I know that you had a couple of articles that talked about them trying to reach out, but I think it might be too little too late. The big problem with GameStop is that they purchased out so many things when they were doing well, right? When I was still working at the office, right? I would walk outside. There's a GameStop on Stephanie Street, which was to my left. There was a GameStop on Mark Street, which was to my right. And there was a GameStop in the mall right behind me. There are 3 GameStops, and if it wasn't for the mall, I can clearly see all of them at the same time. All within 2 miles of each other. And I'm pretty sure they're all still open. Let me see. GameStop.
So same thing here where I live, right? There is one where we bought Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and then the other one maybe is 2-3 miles west by the Walmart. So when you say history has shown that GameStop can adapt when they can't make that pivot, now they start bringing in people who specialize in e-commerce, and maybe they start consolidating. does them becoming more efficient, them changing their business model per se, do you think that's too little too late?
All 3 GameStops are still open. Oh my gosh. Repeat your question one more time.
Sure.
Sorry.
So maybe you already answered my question, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that GameStop consolidating and bringing in people is going to be enough keeping it high, keeping it going? I know its stock is volatile, right?
Yeah.
But and again, we're not here to give anyone financial advice. We don't know what we're talking about, even on a good day. But Grover, do you think their attempts at trying to adapt, innovate, are too little too late?
With the right leadership, you can turn anything around. I firmly believe that. I've seen examples of this happening. Nintendo, right? Everybody thought Nintendo was going to die at the Wii U, right? They're like, okay, they've had their time in the sun to shine, and they're, it is time to, take them out back and go see the rabbits.
Old
right?
Yeller style. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
to go see the rabbits, of Mice and Men.
Yeah, of Mice and Men, right? And then they came up with the Switch. And it was enough for Reggie to be like, all right, Nintendo's in good hands. I'm retiring.
Reggie, former president of Nintendo of America, right?
Yeah. Reggie Fils-Aimé,
exactly.
not Reggie with the studio. But without the Wii U, we wouldn't have had the Switch, because the Wii U kind of set that whole like portable hybrid thing. The technology just wasn't there yet. And they had the game library, right? But nobody played it because nobody owned a Wii U.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
Oh, I know.
I didn't own one.
And I wouldn't suggest anybody buying a Wii U unless they want to play old Nintendo games and have a permanent digital imprint of it. Anyway, but yeah, with the Switch, it's a fully portable thing, and it's kind of what I wish the Wii U was way back when. And yeah, but Nintendo was able to innovate and turn themselves around. And now people, PS5 has been out, Xbox Series X has been out, and people are still wanting their Switch. And I don't blame them.
So there is such a thing as trying to innovate too hard, too fast. I know Nintendo was guilty of that, besides the Wii U, the Power Glove,
Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy. Yeah, too much, too fast, right? GameStop might also be doing that, potentially, right? One of their ideas with this whole GameStop stock is pivoting towards being the regional esports battle arena, right? Where they could pivot towards that kind of setup.
Uh-huh.
So take GameStop out of it, right? Do you think post-COVID that we will have more esports as viable entertainment once we're back in person?
Yeah. Las Vegas is a big esports hub. But it's hard. The esports was having trouble even before the pandemic, right? You've heard of the Smash Brothers allegations.
Yep.
And the fighting game, sexual harassments, it's been going on. So esports has had a different type of problem, but I think that there could be a space for that. And I think GameStop could be a sponsor, but they need something more than that.
The only thing that comes close is like the old card shops that they would have either weekly or monthly tournaments, and you would show up with your Pokemon deck and go through this tournament. I kind of see GameStop becoming something similar.
In Southern California, yes, absolutely.
Or any other big metropolitan area.
In Nevada, it's already kind of covered. There's We Play Games. Half of their store is tournaments. Same with Dark Side Games. They have the video games on the right side and card games on the left side. And then on the north side, there's Grand Play Games or something like that. And the second floor is card game tournaments and card shops. And then the first game's arcade and video
I remember
games.
meeting the owners.
And then they outright have them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then they were at a Level Up Expo. And then there's outright a GameWorks. Yeah, I know. There used to be GameWorks in Ontario Mills in California, but that closed. But they still have
GameWorks and Dave and Buster's. Yeah.
But let me see. GameWorks, is it still open in Las Vegas? Let's see. Yeah, still open. It's in Town Square. But they have pretty much they turned GameWorks into an esports lounge. That's where people go and train and play each other and stuff.
So if GameStop does make this pivot, there is evidence existing that a large metropolitan area can support 2, 3, or even more of these esports. Right? Yeah. Again, we are not a financial podcast. This is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors.
There was I know we used to demonstrate our games at a game lounge. It was in Southwest Las Vegas, and it was called a Reboot Game Lounge.
I remember meeting those. I remember them meeting them too.
Yeah. I'm still friends with the guy on Facebook, but I would be at his place demonstrating Celatria until like 2 a.m. some Friday nights when I was in Vegas. And it was a really chill place, where people that would be a perfect place for an esports team to do. But like GameStop trying to get into that it's difficult because they have no history selling cards or anything like that, right?
Right.
They only sold video games, and now they're selling, and collectibles. Now they're selling like memorabilia and things like that. But they're too hard in the video game as opposed to just card games and things like that. They're trying to get into like cell phones and stuff too. There's like a little section.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
But
they're just trying to sell more than just games and consoles. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to a GameStop.
No, I wouldn't go there either for that. Yeah.
Or anything. Yeah.
So Grover, this is your 4th episode, and this ends coming. Your stint of being a co-host is coming to an end.
I think it's my last episode of the guest hosting.
Would you come back? Would you return for another stint, maybe?
Oh, it was good. I'd do it again.
I haven't scared you away?
No. I'm glad, anything to help out the studio, I'm glad to help out.
No, for sure.
I'm just glad we did this in advance. You might cut that part out.
No, we'll leave it in. It's okay. Leave it in, Shadoe.
Okay.
So, listener, hope you've enjoyed this episode and the other ones with Grover as a co-host. Go ahead and give us a rating. Let us know. Give us some feedback. Let us know what your thoughts are. Rate us. Leave comments. We'll make sure you get the link for a Discord if you have not joined that yet. And that way you can meet whimindie and get to know us better, right? Subscribe on wherever you enjoy podcasts. So that with feedback can we keep improving. So, and that's how we roll whimindie. We take feedback and we improve upon it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been Paul Vella.
I've been Grover.
And this has been the onawhim podcast. Tune in Tuesdays, 8 p.m. And all of y'all, keep it nerdy.
Wow.
Onawhim.